Live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Talk Talk Live, on time and in effect. First of the new year. Happy New Year to you all. We are back. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Live here on IG and YouTube, soon to be on TikTok. Yes, we are coming to TikTok in 2023. How y'all doing? Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are driving. We are still going. We are live on IG and YouTube right now. And yes, Happy New Year to you all. I am so happy the new year came in. And, you know, the holidays were great. I did do some telecasts during the holidays anyways. But again, we are back and we are live today and enjoyed myself on New Year's. Went to a few places on New Year's. Enjoyed myself there. Enjoyed the food. Enjoyed the festivities of the holidays. Holidays are always great, but we are back into 2023. Hope you enjoyed your holidays. Hope you enjoyed your New Year's. Hope you had time to celebrate with your family and your friends. And if you did not, well, you know, I hope that you take solace in the fact that you are alive, you are well, you have a roof over your head, and you are able to listen to my voice. And you know, things will get better as long as you believe. So we are back tonight. Talk Talk Live. We are here. We are available, and we are gonna go into the third part of our series involving Just Pearly Things, Brittany Renner / and Andrew Tate, and their interview this week on and their interview just before the holidays on Just Pearly Things channel, which is just hit 1 million subscribers. Congrats to her. She just hit 1 million subscribers, I think, in the last couple days, and she is just gathering steam. She is a woman that is on a mission, and it's a red pill mission. And again, congrats to her on her 1 million subscribers. A lot of people call her a pick-me, but I don't call her a pick-me. I call her a woman who is truly woke and truly has an understanding of men and what it needs to be a woman as well. So again, congrats to Just Pearly Things on her accomplishment. But again, we're going to get into this video from her show on Talk Talk Live, in which she was talking to Brittany Renner and Andrew Tate. Again, with the Andrew Tate story, innocent until proven guilty. What happened there? I don't know. Something stopped. I don't know what happened. Oh, wow. That went really interesting. What happened there? It just stopped on me for some reason. Sorry, I'm still going on YouTube here, but I am just reconnected to Talk Talk Live on IG. I don't know what happened there. It just stopped on me for some reason. I'll keep an eye on that going forward. But again, just for my audience on YouTube and here on Talk Talk Live, like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for joining me. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We are back. We are back. We are back. Yes, back in black, as they say. And yeah, had a great day at work today. Had a great New Year's, as I said. And yes, just catching up with everybody here on Talk Talk Live here on IG and YouTube. So we are going to get into the interview with Just Pearly Things, Brittany Renner, and Andrew Tate. We're just going to fill in the shop, that triumvirate. And I hope you are alive and well. So we're just going to discuss how Andrew Tate taught game to the ladies. Because the ladies have always seen Andrew Tate as either love or hate him. Simple as that. And again, with regards to his arrest, getting back to it, he's innocent until proven guilty. They investigated him before. They found nothing, but now they are going in harder with some supposed facts. And, you know, he was locked up for that reason. But again, you know, a voice as powerful as Andrew Tate would like to be sequestered by the powers that be, and also the woke community, because again, he's speaking to men, he's speaking truth, and he's awakening men. And you do not want an empowered male group in society, and that's what they want. They want men to be docile and more feminine. They want ladies to be more masculine. So that's the things that we're running against. However, Andrew Tate's running against that, and and all the power to him. And again, he's a voice of change, he's a voice of reason, and he has a lot of things to say on the front of, you know, on the red pill front, and also in terms of gender dynamic front. And you know, a lot of it does make sense if you give a listen to him. Now again, a lot of the ladies, sorry, haters, a lot of people who go against Andrew Tate agree with his message, but either consider him misogynistic for a few of his views, or all of his views, or they have nothing else. They have nothing else to say about him. And I just read. I was just listening to something that I may get into later on. That was on the Joe Rogan Experience today, and it was quite enlightening in terms of Andrew Tate. And they see him as misogynistic in certain sentences and not so in others. And quite simply, it's something that needs to be addressed. I don't see him as misogynistic in any way myself. But again, due process is yet to occur, and we allow for that due process to happen. So again, but we're going to get into this. The reason why you're here for the show, is because we are going to talk about Andrew Tate, kicking game to a lot of these ladies here, because they see and if they can't defeat him, they want to learn from him. Learn how a high value woman becomes a high value woman, and how women can win so many points with men in and of itself. And once they step out of their echo chambers of other women, and just and come to terms and realize that men are indeed, if men are indeed the catch that they want to be, they need to, there are certain truths that they need to listen to men. They need to hear from men in order to get what they want, which is men, more importantly high value men, because women are hypergamous in nature. They'll go as far as their looks will take them. So we're going to get into this right now on Talk Live. Thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Saying hello to the few people who are out there tonight, and we're gonna get into this. We are gonna go with this. And the first segment, where Andrew Tate literally speaks of. Let me just get this right here. The problem with modern women, and how balance can be restored. So again, he's trying to break them down in order to build them up. And I think a lot of while we are analyzing these ideas, again, we'll stop and we'll have a chat about certain things that he brings to the table, as always. And again, we're going to get on with the show. Thank you for joining me on Talk Live. So let's get into the shared screen. There we go. And there's Andrew in the flesh. Well, hopefully, again, free Tate, free Top G. And, we'll again let due process take its course. But let's get into this. Thank you for joining me on Talk Live tonight. I'm going to get onto the live screen, and we're going to do this. Thank you for joining me, and we go now. again, Andrew Tate leads in. We're just gonna stop there for a time. I mean, Andrew Tate leads in quite simply. Most men are losers, and no wonder women are attracted to the top 20% of men, because most men are either grinding it out or they have lost at life, and they're only trying to shave it. And it's up to a man to go through the battles, obtain scars, and build yourself to the best capability you can be, and that's all you can do as a man. But he understands the fact that most ladies most ladies dislike most men because of the fact that they are life's well, for lack of a better word, losers, and they have indeed not succeeded in any of their endeavors. And it is only the strong survive, and those that do survive and those who do thrive are the ones who are the ones who receive the spoils of manhood, including ladies. So again, see, that's the one thing that a lot of ladies don't take in. A lot of ladies don't understand about Andrew, is the fact that he hears you, he understands you, but a lot of ladies won't hear that. They say, "Oh, he's just misogynistic." No, he's actually on your side here. He understands that ladies dislike most men because most ladies are hypergamous, and most ladies will only breed with a man which that will give them some sort of satisfaction, not only in the bedroom but also in life itself, and give their offspring greater chance at life. So again, they have to pick and choose widely, and it takes totally understanding of that. That's one thing that a lot of ladies don't get, is that Andrew is on the side of ladies in the sense of he understands why they're so selective. He understands that. But again, he'll come to a point where he comes to a point and realizes that yes, you may be choosy, you may be so so exclusive in terms of your choices of men. However, because again, most ladies only consider 20% of men attractive, as just probably things always quotes. But however, with most of these ladies, a lot of these ladies choose to devalue themselves by sleeping with any man possible, or or anybody who basically tries to who are not worthy of their time. And with that unworthiness of their time and worthiness of their womanhood, a lot of ladies are lost in the sauce, and come up with bad results, like with Brittany Renner. They have to live on their own, and they have children that are not with a man, and that is indeed the problem. If women would be more selective, understand their looks, because again, part of that comes down to looks as well. A lot of women see themselves as 10s when they're not 10s. This is probably the only segment of society, the only generation that considers themselves 10s. I mean, baby boomers, silent generation, even Gen Xers to a certain extent, never saw themselves as 10s. They always align themselves with the men that they're with. They're more realists back then. They knew their looks. They knew that and they realized and they realized what level their looks will take them, and they get with the men who are of that level. Simple as that. Ladies these days, all looks. 1 through 9s, if you believe in it, 1 through 10s will always try to pull themselves to the top 20% because they're getting sexual, because they're given sexual attention. So just because I sleep with this man who may not be the greatest looking, that means I can get myself an 8, 9, or 10, which is not the case, which has never been the case. But a lot of ladies through social media believe this in their heads, but and a lot of ladies don't see themselves as realists, so they have to give themselves that sort of grounding, that your looks can only carry you so far, and if that is indeed the case, why not get with a guy who is of your level and of your choice, and it makes total sense to me. But again, Andrew's going to get into that in a minute. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live, on the road to 1,000 subscribers, sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com, DUNTALK.com. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's listen in again. And that is indeed true. I was just saying that. That's how it used to be. Especially with the baby boomer generation, I think it ended there, and to a certain extent with Gen Xers, is that because that's totally out of the window with millennials and zennials. That's totally out of the window. Women understood what their looks carried them to be. Women understand their misgivings, and they understand their positives, and they align themselves with the men that linked up to that. That's how the family started. That's how traditions were. Traditions grew, and the world moved in a certain sort of harmony, in a certain sort of balance. But nowadays, it's a case of ladies don't they don't see the average guy anymore. They don't see the an average guy. They don't see the sub fives. They don't see anyone these days. They only, to a certain, I believe to a certain extent they do. However, for the most part, they don't. They literally think, okay, I'm a sub five, but I can still get a above average man. Think of Average at Best through Kevin Samuels, R.I.P. the Godfather. He even said it himself. It's like, why can't you get with an average guy? Just because you earn a certain amount of money, your looks won't carry you there, because that's what all men care about. That's all men care about. We're very, very aesthetically based. And if you understand where your looks carried you to be, your life would be much simpler and much happier, because you'd be with a man that matched those looks, and you'd have a family to which would make you happy. But women aren't doing that these days, as proved by Aunt Jenny here. It's true. And it stopped really pretty much at that baby boomer / Gen X stage. And it's a problem, because you're going to find out in the next 10 years, and we're going to have it on a future show of Talk Live where we discuss this in full, 45% of women by 2030 will be single and childless. That would never used to be the case. Especially for the last, I would say, last 200, 300, 400 years. Never used to be the case. But now it is, because women are putting careers above family, making themselves that much more unhappy, because their wants, needs, their happiness and sadness is based on their job rather than on their ability to love, nurture, and care for people, and be the heartbeat of a family. And that's sad. That's very, very sad. But again, that is the modern woman. That's who we're speaking of right now. Let us continue.
Let me clarify. When I meant 1% is not the 1% of attraction. I mean the actual people that are in charge of the things that run the world the way that.
What I'm trying to say is that it's always been an umbrella we've lived under.
But
and
the
then the
difference is,
functions underneath it. So why is it going to affect me?
I'll explain why. Because as Sir Mr. Andrew King Tate said,
I want to know.
as he said,
I want to know what
thank you.
she's after.
I'll have this one after
I
this
want to know what she's
point.
after.
Yeah.
Speak up and to that now. So come
Right. But it is. I've been drinking lime juice as well. So, as he very rightly said, society is now evolved. Before men went to war, now men don't go to war. So there's a lot of sense of no purpose that they need to find. And then on the women's side is that the same way that society evolved and made men feel less purpose, they have now had to take on bigger purposes. They have to go to work like they didn't have to do before. They have to take care of the family and work and do all of these things, and now deal with the fact that men are feeling a little bit like out of,
Rubbish. No rubbish. That's what I'm saying. You get a 9 to 5 person, right? What is wrong with you going out there, find a regular 9 to 5 person, right? You can function underneath that, because I'm always saying the women say, oh, we ain't got enough money. We ain't got enough money. Work with what the man's got. Work with what the man's got. You can make a man your alpha. Everybody wants to go and find these top earning money. Find a 9 to 5, work regular, save your money, learn to cook and not have takeouts, and then save your money as they did before.
then you should direct this to the men that feel upset because they're not like how today.
No, you see that's the problem. You see, again, Denalva. If you do not know, that's a woman in the center of this shot right here. Denalva is again deflecting towards men. You think it's men's fault? No, she's not getting it. Denalva's not getting it. Here's the thing, ladies. Here's the thing. It's because of your choices that you're unhappy. It's not because of men. It's because of your choices. The choices were, and Auntie Jenny pointed this out quite succinctly and quite well, is the fact that women used to be satisfied with what they had, with what a man could provide. Not that they didn't need a man to have 250, 300, 400, 500,000 a year. And these are for women who, looks-wise, are undeserving of these things. But they'd rather be alone, right? They'd rather be alone than with a man who can protect and provide, no matter what his circumstance, within reason, of course. You know, you don't want a guy who can't provide for himself, let alone someone else. I mean, a guy who's gone out there, works hard, and makes enough money that he can take care of himself and his family, at no matter what age. And that's how things used to be. However, these ladies these days have thrown that playbook out the window. They say that I'd rather do bad ball by myself. Okay, well, it's coming to that point now. It is coming to that point where, ladies, you're doing bad. You are about to do bad all by yourself, and you have no one to blame but yourself, because you choose to not take it under consideration that there are men out there who can protect and provide and can be your everything, but you don't want them because they don't match the looks, they don't have the six-pack, six figures, 6 feet tall, and 6 inches or more, and are, creative, witty, smart, all these other things. And this is for every woman. This is for every woman, because women are throwing that playbook out the window. And for what? Because you want perfection? It's ridiculous. It is totally ridiculous. And that's why Auntie Jenny was stressing, is the fact that, ladies, please, within the next 10 years, take it amongst yourselves to widen your options instead of throwing it all at the 8, 9s, and 10s of the world. Because it's not about money anymore. It's about a looks-based society. And if a man is not an 8, 9, or 10, he's out the door. He's out the window to a lot of women, to most women these days, especially of a younger age, especially millennials and zennials. And it's sad. It is really, really sad. It is really sad. And that's got to change. But again, Andrew's about this big game. Here we go. Perfect. There it is, ladies. That's the secret of it. You'd rather be a side chick to a high value man than be a main chick to an ordinary guy. Let me say that again. Women today, modern women, would rather be a side chick, and they've gone on record to say this. Go on some of these on some of these podcasts like Fresh and Fit. Especially with these younger ones, especially millennials and zennials, they'd rather be a side chick. And this is unheralded in human history. They'd rather be a side chick. They'd rather be a concubine. They'd rather be an affair to a side chick. An affair to a high-value man. They'd rather be an affair to a high-value man than be the main chick to an ordinary guy. An ordinary, good-earning individual. And it's sad. It's stunning. It is stunning to me. Your previous generation, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents wouldn't have stood for that. They knew they had to get on with life. They knew where their looks took them, and they got on with life as best they could. And generations of wealth And generations of families were built on that foundation. But these days, women want to throw that all out the window. And I don't know why. I do not know why. For a chance at generational wealth, they'd rather, throwing away that chance at generational wealth, they'd rather chuck that all in to be a side chick to a high value man. And it's stunning. It is absolutely stunning how their drive for looks has brought them to the stage. Look at Nick Cannon, for Christ's sake. He's got 8 baby mamas. They'd all rather be his baby mama than to be an ordinary man's wife. State that again. They'd rather be a man like Nick Cannon's baby mama or a man like Andrew Tate's baby mama or side chick or good time girl or bit of fun than an average man's wife. It's stunning to me, ladies, and that's got to change. It has got to change, or you're gonna find, as the statistics say, 45% of women will be alone and single and childless by 2030. They're already investment companies are already increasing their stocks in wine companies and cat food companies and dog food companies because they realize that there's going to be a growing segment of single, no children women. It's coming. Now, I guess it'd be good for the population, but at the end of the day, is that what you want, ladies? That's fine. Let's continue.
Cheated on you. That's all y'all ever talk about. And it's like that's
talks about that. The regular women that run it.
Good thing I mean regular and extraordinaire.
But do you not think it's because we're not holding men accountable? So when a man, because he's a top G, cheats on a woman, it's like, well, what do you expect? When you should actually turn around to him and say, is cheating morally correct? Yes. How you say that? Are you okay with your woman cheating on you then?
Absolutely not at all.
No, because it's a wrap when she cheats on you, but you can cheat on her.
There's not been, in the history of humanity, across any culture, any book, any story, any fable, there has never been across the history of humanity any respect for the name of a promiscuous female. Ever. Ever. You name the biggest conquerors that you could possibly name from history. Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, all of them. They all had 100 wives, bunch of children, big G, conquered the world. Normal. That is normal evolutionary biology. That's how men are designed to be. There's never been a single female who's been celebrated for her promiscuity ever in history. It's always been frowned upon and disgusting. So yes, we are completely and utterly different. Yes, it's different if a woman cheats on a man. And if a man is at a complete top level of his life and ticks every single box, and he decides to be loyal, which some do, and I can be loyal and I have been loyal, but there's also times in my life where I think, fuck it, I don't want to be, and get a new girlfriend every single day of the week. I can do that, and I can decide to do that. If a woman decides to do the same, purely because her value is high enough to attract so many males, because she's beautiful, for example, it is completely different. And I'm going to explain to you why it's completely different, so buckle up. It's different.
Before he gets into that, so well it's pointed out, but look at the body language of Brittany Renner right now. She is thoroughly perturbed, angered, I wouldn't say disgusted. She is so underwhelmed at those comments simply because they're true. They're true. Name me a side chick. Name me a hoe. Name me a lady who has shagged her way to the top, and yet she's been considered the paragon of virtue in society, or a top level lady in society. You can't. You can't. You literally cannot. No madam, no prostitute, no no concubine, no mistress has ever been revered in history. I ask you to put one in the comments right now. Go ahead, put one in the comments, either on Instagram or YouTube. Please. Please do. And none of these ladies can answer because it's the truth. Now, Brittany Renner wants to be the first one, of course. But She follows in a long line of ladies who wants to be the first. Ladies like Karine Steffens. Ladies like Amber Rose. She wants to be the first. But at the end of the day, she'll never be the first. No woman will be the first. No man would sign, because you know why? No man will sign off on that. No man would consider, oh, she's a great lady. Sign her name in the history books. No, we'll never, as men, sign off on that. We abhor that. We disagree with that vehemently. And you ladies have to understand that. We value purity, we value grace, we value fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive. That's what men want. And with that, then your name will be written in lights. Then your name will be revered. In the business world, I guess I take it that's what you, if you want to be that way. Sure, absolutely. You'll be revered in the business world, but at the end of the day, it'll be at the sacrifice of your family. I have yet to see one woman in the business world who did not have to sacrifice her family in order to get what she wants. Gets what she wants business wise. There always has to be a balance. Something has to be held back. That's why you don't find a lot of women being millionaires and billionaires. You don't do that. You'll be, I mean, billionaires and the top of society. And if they are, usually it's because it's inherited. AKA Jeff Bezos. The richest women in the world usually inherited their money. It wasn't through their own dearth and experience. Now we're entering a new age, so that may change, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Women have always been noted, always been held in high esteem when they have been nurturers and carers and heartbeats of families and making houses into homes. That's where ladies reach the peak of womanhood, for the most part. Men will sign off on that all day. All day long. And if you are a millionaire and you made it on your own, usually you could have made more simply because you had to put family first, if that's what you wanted. But if you were totally masculine, no man will take a totally masculine woman. A woman who is very business savvy yet does not have a soft side. No man would take that. No one. No. If it was their choice, no. Unless a man is truly desperate and truly indebted, then no. Especially high value men, which is what most of these ladies want, including a Brittany Renner. They want high value men. And you know what high value men? Well, listen. And Tate's about to break it down. Watch this. Here we go. And match Andrew Tate. He nails it on that comment. Men can smell hoes at a moment's notice, at a glance, within 100 feet of themselves. That's one thing that women don't get. We can detect where the hoes are. We can. We can. We have a network that allows for us to do that. We have people who can tell us, yeah, you may not want to deal with this. And, oh, she's got sully reputation around town. We've always had that network. Women see that, see us as naive in that sense. But yeah, we know these things. We know these things. So ladies, we know who are the hoes and we know who are the housewives. We know who are the hoes. We know who are the housewives. Don't get it twisted. We will. And we have a system that alerts us, or people that alert us. We get the intel that tells us, are you a hoe or a housewife? And if you're a hoe, and if you're on the hoes list, it's like being on a sad as naughty list. You won't get no prezzies. You won't get any prezzies from a high value man because it drives down their status. It's as simple as that. They don't want their reputation sullied. This is not Pretty Woman. The movie Pretty Woman, that is. The hoe does not get the high value man. It doesn't happen. Unless it's discreet and kept under to a certain level that men don't know that she's a hoe. But if it's public knowledge that she is, if she's written books that account for that, if she has a baby by a man who does not claim that baby, or does not wish to claim that baby, what do you expect us to do? What do you expect the high value man to do? And that upsets the likes of Brittany Renner. Absolutely. Because she wanted both worlds. She wanted to be a hoe, and she wanted to be, at the end of the day, a high value man's wife. She wanted to be a modern woman. That's what modern woman is. That's what modern femininity, womanhood is all about. Having a body count and yet getting the high value man. That's modern women. That's modern womanhood. That's part of the modern womanhood playbook. But you can see the look of disgust on her face. It is classic. But it tells her story. It tells her story. That's why she's upset. Because she thought she could be different. No. You and many women in time immemorial thought they could be different. It doesn't happen that way. Continue, Andrew. Preach the gospel.
It works. You have to be very careful as a female and say, does this man truly deserve to fuck me? If you think about it, the answer 99% of the time, especially when promiscuous, is no. So when a woman is sleeping around with all these men, she should value her in herself. She should value her.
Just 1 second before that happened. That's what I wanted to come to talk to you about. Is that, ladies, you do realize that as the old saying goes, you'll kiss a few frogs before you kiss a few frogs before you get to your prince, right? Before you get to your Prince Charming. You do realize that not only when you have a high body count, you'll sleep with not only potentially high value men every now and again, as Andrew Tate says, every couple of years, and you sleep with guys who do not deserve your attention, let alone your sexual attention. You do realize that, right? Yes. In your background, as with most women, as with all women, they slept with losers. They slept with men who they thought were worth their time, but they weren't. And they've also slept with high-value men who've had too many women on their roster. Sorry, pause. Who've had too many women on their roster, and they couldn't devote to you the attention you wish to have. That's the same in time immemorial. Same has happened throughout the ages, all the way down the ages. The one thing back then that they used to do is that women used to get with the men that, showed them love and attention and protect and provided for them to the nth of their ability. But nowadays, women aren't selling for that anymore. Women aren't selling, period. And there will come to a point where they hit the wall and they regret their decisions of being so independent, so strong, so much so that they don't need a man. They can do bad all by themselves, fine. They will find themselves doing bad all by themselves, but they'll regret it. And it's going to happen. Watch in the next 20, 30 years the amount of single women that are out there who regret their decision to not give an average guy a chance. They'll regret it. especially during their childbearing best years, during their peak years of fertility and beauty. They chose to throw that away either for a job or because they're too picky. They pick until they pick shit. That's what my mother always said to me. Don't pick until you pick shit. And that's what you find by thousands and millions of modern women, especially in the developed world. They pick until they pick shit. But this is what they wanted, right? Welcome and thank you to feminism. Thank you to the women's movement for deciding this for themselves. But there you go. What can I say? I can't say much because life is about choices, ladies, and you're about to be held accountable for your choices whether you like it or not. Let's continue. Just as a side, ladies, just as a side, you do realize that the children who are best to succeed in life and the most competitive children are those raised in two-parent homes, don't you? Don't you? I hope you realize that. Let that sink in. The best of children are raised in two-parent homes, mother and father. I'm speaking to people out there. I speak to friends about that. Is that children are very much maladjusted if living in single-parent home, especially if they're involved with the alphabet gang and the pink alternative, especially if they're male children. Remember, 80% of the prison population is made up of children from single-parent homes made up mainly of mothers. So any man who's within the home is always best to raise your child right and to give them the proper start in life. There's always that hierarchy. Top, man, woman, male, female families. Second, if in single parents, male single parents. Third and last, female single parents. Look it up. Look it up for yourself. You'll see the difference, unfortunately. That's why you find, I had a show on it. You have a lot of these single parents who are looking for male role models, who can bring structure, who can bring discipline, who can bring focus to a child. How many times have I been, as a single male, because I have a lot of single mothers who are within my orbit, asked me to step in and talk to their child, asked me to step in to give their kids advice, asked me to step in to guide them down the right path. Hundreds. And that's the thing you got to get to, ladies. Previous generations knew full well that a man is needed in the household, especially a household that was going to contain children. Why don't you? The eternal question, why don't you? This Instagram, this modern woman, this 304, this city girl generation. Why don't you? Why don't you see the forest for the trees? Why don't you avoid the accident before getting into one? It's staggering how that is indeed the case. Staggering. And I gotta laugh at these ladies. I really do, because the signs were pointed out to you, but you want to be different. You thought that things could be different with you. But those same mistakes are being accounted for daily. I'm teaching my nephews to be protectors and providers. Lord knows they're 6 feet tall. They have women flocking around them now. But they have the proper foundation to raise a family. I wonder for you ladies out there, what structures you have in place to raise your children right, especially the single parents, the single mothers out there. I hope you have a family around you. I kid you not. I hope you have a grandfather, an uncle, some sort of male leadership around to give you that sort of protection and provision. Because ladies, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it more and more as life goes on. Because life ain't easy. Life is not easy. Not only raising a child, but to have the finance to raise that child. Especially in this inflation-fueled generation. Make sure you're planning now before you make the mistake of having a kid out of wedlock. But again, this is going to fall on a lot of deaf ears. They will. And the issues will soon continue, and they'll be visited upon society at large. Unfortunately. Because of modern womanhood and feminism in and of itself. It's a shame, but they will not take the blame for it. Zero accountability. Let's go.
So I have two different dads.
Okay, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to speed up a little bit here. Thank you for joining me on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to move on to a little more game from Andrew. And again, we're going to talk about how high-value men don't cheat. They exercise their options, love their wives and girlfriends. And again, this is for the non-pink relationships, polygamous, polyamorous relationships. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how men don't cheat. They exercise their options. So, and then we're going to get to the end point where, basically, Brittany Renner talks about herself as she's prone to do, and she wants to know how she can get out of her plight that she put herself in, that she promoted herself into, and put herself at a sincere disadvantage. But again, let's go to that point right now. Just give me a second. Let me cue this up. Let's go. 40. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Perfect. So let's just lead into this here. And we'll discuss. Oh, yes, indeed. So, again, our friend Brittany Renner has a question. And she wants to address it to Mr. Tate, and he'll answer it ever so eloquently. Again, tonight's the night where Andrew Tate's takes gives a bit of game to modern women. Thank you for joining me on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. On the road to 1,000 subscribers. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We are back again. Let's continue.
40 years, this is a new concept. We don't know how it's going to end. I just know from like my experience, other women that I've met as well, it's like the reason for even like relationships
by Mr. Tate. Ladies, this is not a new thing. This is very old. This is a very old concept. Very old. Our sexual exclusivity is not really something that men signed up for. Especially high value men. Especially high value men. I understand if you're a man of a certain amount of means that your sexual exclusivity is pretty much there and available, because at the end of the day you can't afford it. You can't afford to cheat with Tom, Dick, or Harry, because you don't have the looks or you don't have the money to do it. To those who do, though, and as Andrew said, to those who and to the ladies who know that these men protect and provide, have their bills paid, is a stand-up individual, is good role model for their kids, is one who will make sure that she is provided for the most part in life, and who needs and wants for nothing. If a man steps out and has a bit of sport, just a bit of sport, and yet always comes back to his woman, then you should indeed provide a bit of grace for that. Allow a man to, especially if a man is worth it. If he is worth it. If he is worth it. If he's a loser and does it, I understand. I get it. But if a man ticks most of the boxes and indeed protects and provides for you in the right way and puts you in a lifestyle to which you like and love, what's the problem? What is indeed the problem? Especially when you know you have a man in demand. His sexual exclusivity to you is a whole lot harder when temptation awaits at his doorstep at every beck and call. Especially when he has maybe 10, 15, 20 women who are readily available and who offer it on a platter to him at a moment's notice. And it's worthy of their attention. But you are the number one. As we've already said, if he doesn't embarrass you, if he doesn't buy these women hot ticket items, and if he doesn't make anyone pregnant, what's the problem? Those are the rules. That's the rules. If a man choose, and again, men don't cheat. High value men don't cheat. They exercise their options because their options are there. They are there. They are everywhere, and he's reminded of this constantly. It would take an ordinary man 2 to 3 weeks to cinch up a high value man. It'll take him a matter of minutes. And if he's one of those guys, ladies, you have to, and remember, there are not many of these men around. Remember that. It was only 10% of men are high value men. 10%. The rest are just ordinary Joes. And if he's one of those 10%, 10, 15, 20% of men out there, and people recognize him and know him for it, if he's a high value man, ladies, you have to allow him a bit of sport. You have to allow him a bit of time on his own to do what comes naturally to him. What he wants to do. What you may not want to do yourself. Think about that. How many, let's discuss that just quickly. How many things sexually would you rather not do to your man that your man has asked you to do? And I know it's for every woman. maybe anal play, maybe cosplay, or a little oral in a certain area, and you wouldn't do it, but the other woman would. That woman's doing you a service. She's doing you a solid, as they say, an absolute solid. Because I know there are ladies out there that they will not touch certain things, certain ideas, certain positions sexually. They won't do it. And if a man is worthy of position of high value man or near to it, then these other ladies are doing you a service. A huge solid. And if he's coming home to you and he betroths his love to you unconditionally, say thank you to these ladies, because they've taken a lot of they've taken a lot of your plate. They've taken it off of your plate. And that's what these ladies, and that's what these gentlemen usually go to these ladies for, because they wouldn't ask this of their wives, or their wives wouldn't do these certain things sexually. They wouldn't do it. They rather dig a ditch than do these things. They'd rather build a house than do these things. They'd rather change a tire than do these things. They'd rather do a dirty job than do these things. That's what these ladies are here for. Usually that's the case, ladies. They put you on some game there. The nasty, the dirty, the obscene stuff certain men want to do, that's what these ladies are here for. Whether you like it or not. So it is up to you what your level of patience is, and if this man is worthy of that time. If he's put in the work, if he's put in the time, if he's done what's necessary to make himself a high value man, or a man of valor and respect, ladies, that's a small price to pay. Small. That you look the other way every now and again, because those kind of guys don't walk the street every day. Believe me, they don't. Let's continue.
Examples, no, wait. I have a question. Is there ever cheating that's too far? Like, so if a guy cheats on a girl, is there ever a point where she...
Yeah, there's a law of cheating. There's completely a law of
So,
cheating.
like, if he knocks up another girl, would you feel it's too
All right.
far?
So first things first, I'm a man of my word. I know everything. I'm a liar. So you should call it done.
Thank you. Have you peeled it?
Well, yeah, I'm a gentleman. Right. So all
great point. Again, what's the objection to Andrew Tate, ladies? Seriously. Women rejoiced at the fact that he was arrested. Rejoiced. That I would say 70% of women did not know why. They didn't know why. Andrew Tate, why they rejoiced when Andrew Tate was arrested. They didn't know why. They rejoiced though. Because he's telling truth to women? Is that it? Can he tend to be a tad bit misogynistic? Not really. Well, I'll get that to a certain extent. But nothing that would allow for you to rejoice at the fact that this man was locked up. The fact that he was arguing with Greta Thunberg? Really? That's why you're cheering? Is because he had a debate with an environmentalist? Really? Ladies, there are more important things than that in life. Quite simply, there are well more important things. As it is in this instance. If your bills are paid, if there's a roof over your head, if this man put in the work to make himself a high-value man and has kept you in a life to which you wouldn't trade for the world, what is your problem if a man decided to cheat on you? Remember, I am the son of a high-value man. Let me say that again. I am the son of a high-value man. And let me say this. I love my mother to death. I love her to bits, to pieces. Unconditionally, she's the most important woman in my life. To date. But I understand where my dad was coming from, finally. Although his last choice wasn't exactly the greatest. Let me say that. That goes without saying. But I understand where he's coming from. Finally, I see it. I see it. He rose himself from the depths of humanity to make himself a high-value man. To make himself to get himself $1 million company. And yet, he was asked to stay loyal and faithful. That is darn near impossible. Especially to have a loyal alpha, ladies, is damn near impossible. Not with the amount of opportunities that surround you. Literally surround you. The temptation is way too great. Simply too great to pass up. Especially when you're in the top tier gentleman. Especially if you're a top G. Because women put it out on a platter for you. You don't understand the temptation men have once they've reached a certain level of life. A certain level to which they had to crawl, grovel, and as they say, get it out the mud to get to. And yet you want them to stay faithful at the end of the day. When ladies have had this sort of huge body count, can live out all their sexual fantasies, do what the hell they want, and once they hit the wall, well, they realize otherwise. But when a man does it, and he's reached a certain level of life, and he's allowed in the candy store, you want him to get one treat and get out. Ladies, it's what can I say? It's damn near impossible to resist temptation in those instances. And in certain cases, ladies, you have to look away. You have to look away. Especially if a man is worth it. You have to look away. That has been there from time immemorial. There are certain polygamous societies which make it legal. But in the modern world, not so. Why, I don't know. A man is punished for having these sort of desires. A woman is not. Especially in the modern world. In the old world, in Europe and such, I mean, it's part of a way of life, so. But anyways, if a woman turns, if she turns on a dime and says, I want a divorce, then the horses are out of the stable then. That's why I say, ladies, you have to, I mean, we're giving you game. That's what it's all about tonight. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So that's what we're talking about tonight, ladies. This is where Andrew Tate's giving you game. Yes, the same Andrew Tate that you vilify, that you wish it were put underneath the jail. Even though he's not killing anybody. And even though he's innocent until proven guilty. You want to put him underneath the jail. For having these sort of views. But he's telling you, this is not new, ladies. This has been there from time immemorial. And despite the fact that women's women, despite the fact of feminism, this isn't going to change. This will not change. And as long as you aren't embarrassed, as long as there aren't any big ticket items, as in the case of Wendy Williams, happens, and as long as a woman doesn't end up pregnant, every now and again, take it upon yourselves to potentially look the other way. If the man is worth it, as Mr. Tate says. If he's not, I get it. I totally get it. And if he doesn't stick to the rules, I get it. I totally get it. But if he's done all these good things for you, ladies, at least think about looking the other way. Let's continue.
When would you say it's too far? I'm just curious if there's a line that you like if he spends money on another girl, if he like when does it?
Okay, that's a good question.
And other second question, do you think that men ever fall in love with side chicks?
Very good question. And this is a long and in-depth answer. That's a good question. Let me put my other time. But no, but it's a good question. Where's too far? I think publicly disrespecting is too far. So like you'll notice, let's take the Moscow gene, all right? Let's take an oligarch, billionaire from Moscow.
said before, thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I just said it. Andrew Tate is totally right in that. A man has fought, clawed, literally slugged his way to the top. And now you're asking him to only have a portion of the fruit of those labors. A portion. If he so chooses. Remember, ladies, he doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to do this. He literally doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to cheat. If it's not his prerogative, if it's not in him to do so, he doesn't have to cheat. But if he has done the work, if he provides for you, if he cares for you, if he's provided for his family, if he's kept you in a good way and has literally kept the best of roofs over your head, what's the problem? Again, this is game coming from Top G himself to you ladies. Save yourself from going on the quote-unquote cock carousel, which you jump on and off at a moment's notice the slightest time you feel disrespected or you are angry at your man. You just that's the quickest way to hitting the wall. The quickest. The absolute quickest. If you're chopping and changing for men and you decide to yourself, hey, I don't choose to live this life. I don't want to live this life. Okay, fine. But for a man of value, it is totally fine because he'll find someone who would. Same simple as you'll find a man who would. And that's a shame. And it's a shame. It's the simple point. They'll find a man who would. They'll find a woman who would. Sorry. Man, but pause here. Find a woman who will. And Lord knows they're outside his door. Now, would you allow that woman to come in and take your man? Absolutely. But that was their goal in the first place. But as long as the man doesn't embarrass you, bring kids, or buy big ticket items for that woman, then, well, at least if it's such that he buys big ticket items that he can't, totally outside of his budget or without a disposable income or within the budget of his expense account at work, then what is indeed the issue? Continue.
Man or woman loyalty issues there from the beginning.
Absolutely. They absolutely owe that woman
Oh,
loyalty.
sorry, sexual loyalty. That's what I meant.
Sexual exclusivity is different. Sexual exclusivity and loyalty are completely disconnected for males. Nobody wants to talk about this, but it's the unfortunate reality is true. I'm telling you, you can get a man, you can go on a holiday, you fuck some stripper, you can come home, and you can lie detector test
understand that there are these things in place that worked and made sense, and now we're approaching an era that like we don't know what's gonna happen. But there's gray area. You've had sex, I've had sex, she's had sex, we've had sex with different guys. That doesn't mean that we're damaged goods, we're used goods. I understand status is a big part of that. I understand that sex is viewed differently, but I feel like you should not. If you're looking at face value, I can understand why you would be judged from your past. But if I'm a guy interested in you, I don't care about what you've done.
But that's the thing. Like men do though. That's the thing. If a virgin's more valuable to a man than a girl that's had sex with multiple men. Like it just is what it is.
See, that's the thing, and it's well pointed out by Just Pearly Things, is the fact that indeed, ladies and gentlemen, ladies in particular here, you've got to realize that sex is again a function to gentlemen. It doesn't have any. In certain aspects, it can have emotional attachment, but for a lot of aspects, it doesn't. It's just an act. It's considered sport. It's exercise. Think about it that way. It's exercise to us in certain respects. We like having sex because it's cardiovascular. It brings endorphins to the brain. It satisfies our urges. It makes us think clearer at the end of the day, and it's automatically good for you overall. Just think of all the go and Google any sort of positive aspects of sex, and that's what men think about. And in and of itself, the act. But women attach emotions to that idea. Sex, to a lot of women, is an emotional act. An act of love. An act of spiritual unification, as so eloquently said by Brittany Renner. And that's where the disconnect comes in between men and women. Men can see a sexual act as all these things, but men can always see it as an act. And I think a lot of women, especially modern women these days, see it as an act as well. The only thing about it is it goes against them. It costs women, it doesn't cost men. Because as Just Pearly Things just pointed out, if you valid it, and that Brittany Renner tried to, basically deflect, if you valued yourself so much and valued the act of sex so much, then you wouldn't have that much sex as a woman. You would have saved yourself for the right guy. But as Brittany Renner said, oh no, there's a lot of gray area. The fact of the matter is, you thought you could sleep your way to the top, but at the end of the day, with your known body count, you can't now. That's an impossibility. You can't get for Brittany Renner, for a lot of ladies out there whose reputations are out there, they cannot get a high value man to whom they want now that their whole facts is out there. It's been publicized. And that's the long and short. And that's one of the great double standards of all time. Men are valued for their sexual experience because they see that as being not only a show of status to other men, because they are allowed that much sexual access, so therefore they're either Chads and Tyrones or are such high value men that they're deserving of these applause. These are the spoils of being so gifted in the business world and being a high value man. And for ladies, it's the opposite. To have all these sexual experience on your person and to have a high body count, they don't want to reveal that because high value men or men of any sort of of value or valor or intent or standing in the community, in the male community, they won't see it as being valuable in and of itself. They will. They'll outright disregard said woman. And that's what's happened to Brittany Renner, even though she wanted the opposite to happen. She thought that she could be the unicorn of the bunch, but not so.
The modern man usually is not a virgin. A modern man needs a partner, somebody that's actually smart and can survive in the world of today. And that's going to be a lived woman.
The men with the most choice are going to pick women that are more pure in general.
The ones that are already self-made, I guess so. But that's the thing. The reality is that there's a lot of men out there, especially in the world that we live in today, that need a partner. So it's time for those masses of men to start respecting women for the role they can play in their lives.
I don't think average men expect women
You
to
know
be
what it is?
virgins.
You know what it is?
But it's this rhetoric that actually then is pumped into these minds and creates what people now complain about in the misogynistic world. That's what it is. Even in schools, it's like
Why is it
perpetuated.
misogynistic for men to prefer women that are more?
It's not that it's, but it's not. That's not the problem. The problem is now. Listen, the maths is very simple. You've got people like Andrew Tate talking about these things with such clarity, and it makes so much sense because it is true, right? And then you have men that are in these situations where just average, working an average job, and they cannot fulfill whatever definition is called to be a man in these.
Yes, they can, and that's
No,
what he
they-
said. He did
no.
say that. Yes, they can.
No,
A 9 to 5 man can do it.
But then again, but wait. This is the thing. What we're talking about as a man, and this is why I say it's very important for us to understand the person that we're speaking to. And I'm very glad that you clarified everything that you mean. Not every man is like Andrew Tate. Not every man is going to be able to even realistically demand for certain things from a woman. So the same way women need to compromise if it comes to a man who is going to cheat on her because he's a top G, is the same way men are going to have to compromise and stop blabbing about purity when they can't demand for that.
You didn't get none of what you didn't get none of what
I
you
made
said.
my point. That was the whole point.
Yeah, well, again, she didn't make any point. She didn't make any point. Anyways, ordinary guys can indeed provide this for women at, at a lesser cost. It's just are willing to compromise to do it, because men have always compromised for women who have. I mean, if they're average guys, men have always able to compromise for women with high body counts, especially if they have a certain amount of looks. They do. The problem is women don't compromise for men these days. It used to be the fact that they do, but now they don't. And that is a bad precedent. That is a double standard to which is not plausible going forward. It doesn't stand to reason. It does not stand to reason at all. And Canada just scored the winning goal in the World Hockey Championships. I just watched it here. Crazy. Well done, Canada. Anyways, they're off to the finals. They're jumping up for joy. Anyhow, commiserations to Czechia. But there you go. That is one of the, are women able to make compromises with ordinary men and say, okay, you may have a body, because men have already made peace with that. Men are willing, if you have a certain look, are able to look past that if you're an ordinary guy, because he will value for who you are. But you would have to come down in terms of standard of man in order to get that individual. But a lot of ladies won't do that these days. They won't. And it's a sad thing. No, it's a sad thing. But again, because especially for ladies, because they end up on the shelf. They will. They eventually end up on the shelves, and they'll be on that cock carousel, and they'll be the side. They'll be forever a side chick. They'll hit the wall, and they'll wonder why. But again, Andrew Tate's giving them game here on Talk Talk Live. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Where we like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. More things on the way, including more shorts that are going to be on YouTube this week. More to be commissioned as of in the coming weeks. And yeah, I'm looking forward to 2023. But let us move on to the final amount of game given out by the one, the only Top G, Andrew Tate, to whom there's been a lot of hate for recently, and I don't know why. But again, we are here. Oh, I just watched a winning goal here. Yeah, nice. Well, it's a 2-on-1. I don't know how they got into that situation, but anyways, guess the tired legs, as they say. Tired legs. Nice move and the goal. All right, so let's discuss the where Andrew Tate finally kicks game to modern women and says why submission, agreeability, respect are the key to any successful relationship. Why submission, agreeability, respect are the key to any successful relationship. Ladies, there was a balance so many years ago that was disbanded, discarded in the age of feminism and the women's movement. They thought, oh, who needs submission? Who needs coachability / coachability? Who needs agreeability? Who needs respect? Women wanted to be respected on their own terms. The problem was men, especially high value men, never co-signed on that. Never did. Never considered that to be a top priority. And now ladies are, let me just get that. And now ladies are crying that indeed they want a certain man of a certain age, of a certain sort of sex, of a certain way, who's an alpha male who will do away with the tenets of high value women, fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissiveness, and who will like their men to be one they do not respect and ones they do not respect and the ones they wouldn't consider highly overall. When in fact that is not the case. When in fact it's always been the way that when it's always been the way that these things are held highly in the eyes of men, even though they try to shut you down and dissuade you, and especially in the developed world, they try to dissuade you from these things. But again, submission, coachability, agreeability, and respect are the keys to any man. That's what any man wants, and it's never gone away. So again, Andrew's about to put you on game with that. Thank you for joining me in Talk Live. We're about to get into this.
Being a mother and being a housewife is kind of different, though.
Okay, no, but it's such a decision. Your housewife won't not assume you're going to have children. I think that the sooner a woman has children, the better. If she can find a good man and have a child, that's fantastic. That's a beautiful thing. And I don't see the point in a woman slaving away for a corporation that doesn't care about her as opposed to slaving away for her own flesh and blood. I think that's a complete waste of a life. I think the men are already doing that. Why would you want to go along and do that?
Because a career is not just slaving away for a corporation. A career can involve a million different things.
Well, that's the other thing, Iris.
Perfect. She shut her down. She shut her down right then and there. Women, let me say this. If you're in earshot of my voice, let me say this clearly. When you say you want a man who can handle you, you'll never get him. You'll never get him. You'll never get him. If you're saying that you want, again, I repeat, if you want a man to handle you, that means that you've been mishandled, or shall I say, you cannot be handled. You cannot be handled. You're too hot to touch. You're too cold to hold. So why do we want to handle you? Why do we want a problem? The three S's, ladies. Sex, sandwich, silence. We want women to bring us peace, not war. As Andrew said so eloquently, we want a woman to be the shelter to us from the storm. A shelter. Did they win the... I think they won. Okay, they won the finals. Okay, fair enough. Oh, yes, they handed out the medals. So Canada won over there. Fantastic. Well done. Well done, Canada. Anyway, back to it. We want ladies to be the shelter in the storm. We want them to be our peace. We want them to be the one we wish to come home to. And if you and if you say you want a man who is able to handle you, that's a red flag to us. It's an absolute red flag, because you're going to be a problem to us. One big fat problem that could end us broke, depressed, and eventually dying a way shorter death. Much shorter death. Much shorter life, sorry. We'll end our lives early. Either from our own hands or from the stress of life in and of itself. One of the greatest choices a man can make is the woman that he takes as his wife or his long-term girlfriend or his That's one of the greatest choices we have in life. And it can literally mean a man could be in heaven or in hell through the woman to whom he gives his life. Because that's what it comes down to. And if we're giving a life to a woman who wants to be handled, we're living a life of hell. More than likely hell. So, don't say you want to be handled. There's another thing that Andrew Tate put you onto. Don't say you want to be the woman who wants... You don't want a man who can handle you. Because that shows that you have had a very, very bad track record. And if enough men are saying that you cannot be handled, you cannot be touched, and I've been there, chances are the relationship goes up in flames. So, word to the wise.
As well. So obviously submission is something that people talk about a lot. For me, I'm a logical person, I believe, and I submit with logic. I don't submit by default because there's a level of respect that I believe I need to have to be able to submit. Obviously, it's not that I go around and I disrespect all men and everything, but I find that my level of thought process a lot of the times
It makes it hard. No. So I don't
again, ladies, Andrew Tate's making so much sense. I really don't know why the hate for this man. I really don't understand. When you are, and it's so true, the reason why you're in the situation that you're in usually is because you want to be single and independent and you don't need men. Plain, simple, to the point. It's because of feminism, it's because of the women's movement. You're in your element, you are settled, you're at your happiest. Most women are at their happiest when they're with a man that it's respect and in a family environment. What messed that all up? Indeed, as Andrew Tate said, sleeping with men who's not worthy of their time, sleeping with men who are to whom they do not respect because of their horniness, for lack of a better word, which makes them end up which allows them to have problems at the end of the day. That brings them to social ills such as, single motherhood. Most women with huge body counts are usually single mothers because they can't pair bond. Simple as that. Because they can't pair bond. Because they're always thinking of that the last deed. This guy did this to me. This guy did that to me. This guy did the other deed. So it makes it harder to pair bond. And it puts you into trouble. What Andrew says is right. If you had been more selective, if you had keyed in on a man that you really want, that you really respected, you wouldn't be in the predicaments that you're in. Then you wouldn't have to say, oh, I want a man who can handle me. No man wants that. That shows that you're a problem to begin with. But again, Andrew's telling you the truth. He's telling you the truth. Be more selective. He's giving you game again, ladies. Game. This is what Andrew's giving you. Be more selective in your choices. Settle down again with a man that you respect. And don't raise your body count to such insurmountable levels that you can't pair bond with this man. What's more? What can more? I mean, really, why the hate? I mean, I've already had a series of why the hate for Tate. I mean, ladies, you got to pick up on this game. Your life could be so much better if you do. I'm serious. Hey, he's right. Let's call a spade a spade. Men have to if men want women who are submissive, men have to be the men who are being capable of being submitted to. Mean they must reach the top end of manhood. They must be able to protect and provide with the best of them. If you can't, don't expect submission. Simple as that, gentlemen. Yes, it's time to kick our own ass. Yes, indeed. If you cannot find a woman who submit, chances are you are not one to be submitted to. There it is. That is our own cross to bear, as gentlemen. We have to be the best of men to be submitted, to whom women should submit. And don't expect a high-value woman who is fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive to submit to you. You can't. You take what you get, and you build a life with whomever you have it with. But again, it comes with caveats. Maybe the woman's a bit, a little more harder to handle. Maybe she is a bit disrespectful. Maybe she is a little more promiscuous. Maybe she does have a high body count. All these things have to be taken into account, guys. They simply do. But at the end of the day, we have to be the best we can be. We have to have what's the saying? More money, more muscle, better game, whole frame. I think that's what it is. I think I know what it is. Anyways, from MFK. I think it's MFK who said that. More money, more money, more muscle. Learn game, hold frame. We've got to be the best we can be, guys. The business world is now indeed the battle place, and if you are a private on that battle place, then there are certain spoils that are attached to that, but it doesn't account for generals of those battle places. The top gentlemen, they get the spoils, and we cannot object to it, and we can't be incels because of it. We've got to take ownership for this. If you want a woman to truly submit, you have to be worthy of submission. Have to be worthy of submission, guys. And I'm speaking to gentlemen here. I'm speaking to the males of the world, to the men in the room. And you can't blame society. You can't blame this. Can't blame that. It's because of you and your choices. Simple as that. If you reach a certain level in life, quite simply, you deserve the spoils of it. So, gentlemen, you got to step your game up. You truly do. You've got to step your games up. Our looks can only take us so far. They can. Even for the Chads and Tyrones, they only hit out of 1 out of 10 of the women that they seek out. And listen, if they're not dominant in the boardroom and not dominant in the real world, and they're not bringing enough resources home, no matter how good you look, you won't be able to attract. Well, you'll be able to attract a certain amount of women, but you won't attract as many women as your looks can if you have the best of both worlds. If you're a killer in the looks department and a killer in the business world. So we have to step our game up, guys. Simple as that. Andrew's right. That's a bit of game for us. For us.
Everyone has a problem, but there's also men who are worthy of respect and women refuse to respect because of society. So there's two sides to it, right? But a lot of it is, if you're a capable enough man and you're brilliant enough, then the female has no choice. But it's very interesting. This goes back to a point I made earlier about how important it is for us men to find women who we don't believe have a lot of life experience and look like they are. Because I got attacked. I'm going to make this point right now. I got attacked. When the Matrix attacked me, fucking
key, ladies. So key. So well put. And you can see how Brittany Renner was. Look, I'll just go back a couple frames with this. Let me go back just a couple frames, and you can see for yourself. And you can see right about here. Sorry, let me go a little further here. Oh wait. I had it there for a second. Hold on a second. I just want to get that exact moment. Back up. God damn it. One more time. There you go. But anyways, we'll leave it here. You can see how Brittany Renner is having thoughts about Andrew Tate. Like dirty thoughts about Andrew Tate, because she just taught him game. She was just taught game. She was taught game by Andrew. Right then and there. Be more agreeable with the gentleman. Like what he likes. And as he says, it's easy points for a gentleman. Easy points. If you find them agreeable. If you agree with your man. If you likes what he likes. Because that means you're on the same page. Even if you may not like what you want to be an individual, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. You'll find out, because if you see how hard it took, because it shows how it literally shows how that you agree and you appreciate how hard it took to get to that level where he likes a certain car, or he likes a certain type of house, or he likes a certain type of fixture, because he had to work for it. More often than not, it wasn't given to him. And you're giving him validation. You're giving his hard work validation by just agreeing with it. By just literally agreeing with it. And that puts you in his good books. And would you want to be in a high value man's good books? I think so. Would you want to be in a man of values good books? I think so. Would you want to be in a man who can protect and provides good books? Absolutely. So why not make it why not make it easy on yourself? Just make it easy. Why do you want to be so hard? Why do you want to be so independent? It makes no sense. Why do you want to be so independent? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Who loves your man? What's your favorite song? His favorite song. Who do you vote for? Who he votes for? What's your favorite car? His car. That's how it happens when a woman loves a man. And that makes the man feel good, right? If she's been through too much shit, then that's a little harder to pull off. So that link is very important for many women. But so yeah, the pictures are telling me that. But it's very, very interesting. You have to understand all these small sub-dynamics and why things are happening and why the world is the way it is. And the baseline of it is that everything's fucked. Men are acting like men and women are acting like women, and it's so messed up.
And so what about like your own autonomy and like just like you can.
All right, let's just go a little further here, because I just went back a little too far there anyways, but...
I am talking about how as a female to be as attractive as possible to men. Now, I'm not saying you can't get a man if you say another car. I'm saying how do you be as attractive as possible? Because you also don't understand how men think. It's different if you come to my house and choose to like another one of my cars. But what if I only have one car? And then you say, well, no, I think it might be a million. Oh, yeah, it's nice. I prefer Mercedes. You know, a man thinks to say that. Who picked you up in a Merc? That's the first thing that goes to his fucking mind. Well, I don't even know about Mercedes.
What if you can buy a Mercedes?
That's not what crosses the man's mind. I'm telling you how men think.
But then that's why. And that's why the
What percent of women can really afford their own Mercedes?
Yes, but
I said a Mercedes.
See, this is what we don't. Oh my God! Ladies, don't be disagreeable. Please don't be disagreeable. Don't be this woman in the brown. Don't. God, don't. Please don't. Please, 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 please don't. Take notes now. If you choose to be disagreeable to a fault, you will end up alone. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. She literally said, I have my own DNW. I have my own this and this and that. Who cares? A man doesn't care. They don't care what you have individually. We don't care. Your value to us is not based on your finances. Unless a man is truly desperate, truly indebted, and a man you don't want to be with in the first place. We don't care. We're not asking you to be a parrot. All we're asking you to do is buy into the ideas that we present to you. Buy in. When you buy in, the road towards that high value, towards that man of means, towards that man of respect is that much simpler. It's that much simpler. By you telling me, oh, I can afford this, oh, I can do this on my own. If you choose to want, if your behavior shows to us that you want to be alone, you will be left alone. 45% of women aged 25 to 44 in the next 10 years will be single, childless. They will be alone. If you want to show us your independence, fine. We won't touch you with a bars pole. How's that? There's your independence. Or do you want our protection and provision? It's up to you. It's worked for centuries. However, what can I say? What can I literally say? It worked for your mother. It worked for your grandmother. It worked for your great-grandmother. It worked for your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother. Why can't it work for you? Please don't be this woman. You know what? She's not done yet. Hold on. Let her continue. Hold on.
I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy for you. I said, what was the average woman makes $35,000 a year? That's not that high. I said, I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy for your car. But the average woman, I'm saying but the whole point is that 1% of women even earn that much. It's not a high percentage. So when a guy hears that you have when a guy hears that you've been
Just before he goes into that, before she goes into that, this is what frustrates us. Ladies, we got love for you and all you do. Remember this. Please remember this. Don't appear too independent. Don't appear like you're an island. Because no woman, let alone man, is an island. That drives us up the wall. Up the proverbial wall. When you say to us, oh, I've done this, oh, I've been there, oh, I've done that, it sends off a signal to my head that there's no pleasing this lady. There's no pleasing this lady. How do you mask that? By being agreeable with your man. How's that? Just appease him, you know, as Aunt Jenny was saying. Make it feel brand new to him. Make it feel brand new to you, even though you may have done it already. Be fascinated. Wow, you do that? Wow, you do this? Wow, you did that all by yourself? Instead of looking condescending, of course. But make it feel special. Our job as men is to make you feel special. The least you can do is acknowledge that our efforts are recognized and appreciated. That's it. That's free. It's free advice, and it's free to do, ladies. You don't have to pay for anything of that. But the minute you show off your independence, I'm strong, independent, I need no man, and I'm hardly impressed by what you're doing for me here, guess what? Your looks can only carry you so far and so long. Guess what? That'll become old news, and you will end up alone. I guarantee it. Andrew Tate is giving you game. Aunt Jenny, by proxy, is giving you game. Right then and there. Be fascinated by what he does. Be awestruck by what he does. It wins you brownie points, ladies. It wins you brownie points. Being hard to please is never a turn on to a man. Never. Being an individual who's entitled and expects things never pleases a man unless he's truly delusional or is so blinded by your beauty that he doesn't care. Unless his simp radar is off the charts. His simp value is well off the charts. But no man's appreciative of that. None. So if you are blasé about these certain things, or you're upset that a man has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on you, either he's got simp energy or you definitely belong to the streets. Because there's no pleasing you. So, there's the door. Simple.
I've got 2 free tickets to go to go. My man said to me, you're not going. What do you do?
I'm going.
What would you do?
Why? Why am I not going?
It doesn't matter. He said to you, you're not going.
Because that's just illogical submission.
I
for
know
him.
it.
I don't know why it comes back.
No, but the whole point is you pick someone that you respect enough to trust his judgment,
I think
even when you disagree. That's the whole point.
I want to fight.
He's not
before she gets into that, it's true. It's true. Ladies, it's so stinking true. Twofold. Number one, you can't be submissive when it suits you. He's right. You can't be submissive when it suits you. You can't just say, oh, I'm getting all these, when he buys you things or when he does things that you want, you can't be submissive then and then turn around and be non-submissive somewhere else. Submission / agreeability, because that's what it means, ladies. Again, that's what it means. Submission equals agreeability. Look it up. Look up submission and find synonyms of submission. And it's right there. It's absolutely there for all to see. So, when it comes to this, you can't be submissive to a certain extent. Men are getting wiser these days. They're getting much wiser. This is one thing that you could have swept under the rug under the happy wife, happy life section of things. This is what you could have swept under the happy wife, happy life slogan for years. But now it's a case where men see that at face value. They don't understand. They truly do not understand that anymore. You know why? It's because they realize that in marrying a person these days, it could be a case where ladies can turn on a dime and say, you know what, this is not going anywhere. I'm not getting anything out of this. I want a divorce, and they take half of the man's fortune because they realize marriage is not a great deal to men. They will lose part of their fortune in marrying a woman. So men aren't they're not taking the okie doke anymore. They're not. You can't be submissive when you want to be. You can't cuddle and coo and try to obtain resources from a man and therefore have him obtain your submission then and then turn around and backhand him quite simply with your attitude and your behavior and reaction in another instance. Men aren't taking that anymore. And number two, what a lot of women are not understanding is a man's judgment isn't valued anymore, especially when it comes to the protection. You want a man to protect and provide. When he offers you protection, when he's offering you a degree of protection and giving you his judgment on certain dangerous situations that you may walk into, you can't want a man's protection if you just totally disregard it and say you're single, you're independent, you don't have to listen to men, even though you're in a relationship with a man. If you want a man's protection, ladies, you're going to. It's not as if you can't. He is forbidding you from going anywhere. In certain situations, if he has a bad feeling, listen to him, believe him, because as Andrew said himself, we remember that's a mental note to us. This is one time she didn't listen, and then maybe another, and another, and another, and another. And you wonder why your relationship / marriage is deteriorating. Because you don't value his judgment. That's why. Because you're on this independent streak. Why? Do you want a man's protection and provision or not? Do you want a great role model for your kids or what? If he's not disagreeable to a fault, if he's not protective to a fault, what's the problem here? What's the problem? That's what men want to know these days. You can't always have it your way, especially in situations which are considered dangerous. Because if you go against a man's judgment, and you're the victim of a crime, and you wonder why, It's certainly problematic. It is so problematic to us, ladies. Again, Andrew Tate's giving you intel, absolute intel, of how to have a sustainable relationship / marriage. Trust a man's judgment when it comes to protection, especially if he is able to protect. And don't be submissive to a fault. Don't be agreeable to a fault. Don't be submissive only if it results in you getting things from a man, or if you've just received something from a man, and then you turn around and just, forget your submission. Then don't be submissive. Don't be agreeable when it suits you, because men pick up on that. It's a thorn in our side, ladies, that that we cannot express enough. Cannot. What can we say about this woman? What can we say about the Nalva? Even Brittany Renner's put off by her. Put off. She's doing the most. She's talking the most. Why? Sex and with silence. Totally away from that. Oh, because I have my own mind. I have my own moment. Okay, you have your own mind, but you will be on your own. I'll tell you that. You'll be on your own. Why do we want a person like Denalva? Why any man would want Denalva in her life? Unless she's a sexual Olympian or a world-class chef, I do not know. That's the type of woman that no man in their right mind would want to be around. Because she's always wanting to prove herself. She always trying to be contrarian, and it's ridiculous. Please do not follow her lead, because it's just insane. Then she wants somebody who can handle her. We don't want to handle you with a barge pole, Denalva. We don't want to handle you with a barge pole. Maybe one sucker out there you'll be able to want to handle you, but other than that, we don't want any part of you. All this chat, and for what? To prove a point that you are single and childless and independent? What's the point? Thank you for joining me on Talk Live. IG, YouTube. We are back. We are moving on into TikTok very, very soon. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to continue this. But even Brittany Renner had no more time for this woman, because all she wants to do is dominate a conversation, talk loud, ain't saying nothing. She's not moving the conversation forward. All she's trying to do is wave a flag that I'm here. What's the point? Oh, just ridiculous.
But at the end of the day, the same way that we have evolved now, as a woman I have evolved, I would expect, and what I do want is not equality, is a certain level of respect, which means that if I am also somebody that is quite smart, somebody that can take a...
She's still talking.
I've done all of this for about 30 years of my life. You can't tell me just no. Well, the condition is, sorry, yeah? The condition
She's still talking.
telling me no, give me the assurance as to why I said no, because actually I am agreeable when you make me feel assured that what you're doing makes me feel safe. Actually, because what women are looking at for is stability, and stability comes from knowing that you trust the man.
Shut up! Jesus Christ. You see what I'm talking about here? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying here? She just won't shut up. She's always having a point to prove. She always wants to one up the conversation. What's the point? No man wants that in their life, ladies. Please believe me on this. 99% of men, especially high value men, do not want her in their lives. We don't want a woman like her in our life. We don't. She always wants to she always wants to disprove the argument. You have to go to the ends of the earth to please her, and she's disagreeable to a fault. We don't want a woman like that. I'll tell you that for free. We don't. We never did. She's a headache in and of itself, to a point where even the ladies are turned off by her. Turned off. Absolutely turned off. Don't be this woman. Please don't. Just because you have an education doesn't mean you have to have a mouth. Let me repeat that. Just because you have an education does not mean you have to have a mouth. Sometimes you have to listen. You don't have to prove to the world you are who you are. Your credentials should say as much. Your actions should speak, not your mouth. And her mouth is speaking so loudly, so cantankerously, so negatively on her part, that no man would want to handle her as she says. Ridiculous. Even she had to be cut off. Shut up. Sorry. Oh, that was my bad. Continue.
Let me ask you another question. The reason she decided not to do this because this is obviously not a regular occurrence, right? So you had a reason and she trusts his judgment. Let me give you girls a scenario. Let's imagine I'm with a chick, whatever. She has a concert. I say I don't want to go, and she replies like, "Hey, why can't I go?" And I say, "Not that bad. I'll go." Now what?
Now,
So what should you? I think a woman should just go. I don't even share my stupid feeling and bounce. Or
you know, what now? You might wait.
Indeed, Vladdy Zoo, go Canada. Indeed, I saw the overtime goal there. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. But there it is. A man does not want to explain every time he makes a decision to you why he's made that decision. It is an absolute headache that we don't want. You can't trust your man's judgment? Do you have to question him at every beck and call? So can't you just take his word for granted for once or twice or three times? It's not as if he'll say this every day. Just be agreeable. Be submissive for those few times for free. And it lasts you so much longer in a relationship. The minute we have to be like, I mean, it would be an absolute nightmare if I were Denalva's boyfriend or husband, and every time I ask her to do something for me, she has to question it. It would drive me nuts. It'd be the first class trip to a divorce. First class. Hell, I wouldn't even want to get into a long-term relationship with a woman if she's like that. Hell no. We have to justify every move you make with a woman. She can't take stuff for granted. It's a terrible scenario to be in. And more than likely, enough men out there who deal with modern women have to deal with on a daily basis. That's why a lot of men are just checking out of marriages. It's because they have women like this who just want to question their every move. I'd rather be alone than have to deal with a woman like her. Why can't women just trust their man's judgment every now and again? It's not as if he's proving to be disproportionate to a fault in terms of his decision making to allow you out. Where he's just literally keeping you in, I understand. But if he's doing it for every now and again, he just should not have to be questioned on certain decisions because he has your best interest at heart. Or it could be the fact that you're cheating on him. Because we get these certain ideas in our head. If you can't trust our judgment, why indeed should we be with you? You want our protection, you want our provision, but yet you're submissive when it suits you, and you don't trust our judgment. What's the point? Indeed. woman, this woman right here, if you're with me on Talk Live on YouTube, that woman, I guarantee you, unless she changes her ways, we won't be married. It's as simple as that. Because she chooses herself above anyone else. She chooses herself ahead of her man. She'd rather listen to herself than a man's judgment. And as the Bible said, if you do not wish to be covered, you will not be covered. She has single energy. She wants to show the world that, yes, I can do this, I can do that. Big deal. Do you want to be in a relationship or what? Do you want to be in a marriage or what? It involves give, take, and sacrifice. She's not willing to do that. She's clearly not willing to do that. So what's the point? What is the absolute point? I don't want to be anywhere near that woman. I don't even want to know her name. That's why I just call her Brown Pants. She is disagreeable to a fault. And she just wants to, because she wants to assert her womanhood. She wants to assert her independence. She wants to assert her self-sufficiency. Who cares? Who bloody cares? Ladies, please, for the love of Christ, please, 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 for the love of Christ, take notes from these videos that I'm sending you out right now. Especially today. Take notes. Because at the end of the day, it may allow you to get in a relationship, a long-term relationship, if not marriage. It may allow you to do that. This sort of woman, these sort of women that's on the panel, don't get the message, and it'll come too late. It'll come way too late for them, and that's a shame. All because they want to assert their independence. Ridiculous, quite simply ridiculous. Oh, she's about to go into the. Could I just speed by her? Could we just get away from her for a second? I don't know. Yeah, maybe there. Let's get here so we don't have to hear her mouth again, because it's just a mouth. Oh, it's just another mouth. It just keeps coming. Anyways, let's get going.
I'm just saying
before she gets to the question, he's right. He taught you more game, ladies. Here's the thing. Here is the absolute thing, ladies. By inspiring your man, he'll do more for you. By being inspirational to a man, he'll do more for you. Andrew's right. Instead of condemning him for his choices in life, like if he's on video games all day and playing with himself or playing with a group of friends or with the World Wide Web. Inspire him. If you inspire him to say, listen, you're so good at this, why don't you do this? If you're so good at that, why don't you do that? Inspire him to do more. 99% of men are going to get off their ass and do it. If you're giving them the inspiration to do it. You ever thought about that, ladies? Instead of condemning, just try a bit of inspiration for him. Just a bit. Like, I've seen what you do here. This would be a great place for you. I see what you could do there. Let's work together so that you could do these sort of things, or get you work here, or let you do this and that. And you know what? Your relationship will blossom from that point. Absolutely shoot off like a rocket if you can inspire your man to do something. Instead of condemning him. Instead of not giving him alternatives in which he can express his manhood and benefit you in the process. Absolutely. Instead of saying, you're no good, you do this all day, oh, I don't know what I'm doing with you, oh, I should have stayed with him, and this. Where's the inspiration in that? A man's just going to go right back to doing what he was doing. Just to piss you off. Instead of being his muse, instead of being his inspiration. He's absolutely correct. Absolutely. More game from Tate. I don't understand why you ladies hate this man. I really don't. Because a lot of the things he says makes total, utter sense. Total sense. Despite your independent streaks, this man makes total sense. And if a lot of his stuff were being listened to, there'd be a lot more happy relationships out there. They would be. It's game. He's giving you game. He's literally giving you game. But because it's coming from Andrew Tate, you don't want to listen. And that's a shame. That's an absolute utter shame. Again, you can see. Listen, Brittany Renner is trying to absolve herself of her sins and literally get away. It's trying to find a way to her ultimate goal was to find herself a high value man and wash away her sins. Literally. That's the whole driving point in being here. That's the reason why she's around Andrew Tate. And you can see she was discussing it with him for a time, but if left to her own devices and if nobody else knew, she'd sleep with Andrew. I'm just saying. This is, again, I believe she would. She would. She has total respect for this man and what he's saying. Because all these questions are directed to him. Because he is a high-value man. Let us continue.
Differently through a series of events, right? So what the fuck comes next? Because that's where I'm confused, right? Because I'm not, it's like, if you don't, if it's not like gifted to you, like even in your situation, like your dad provided you a life that like so many people would kill for. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why it's like, it sucks because the reason I hate these conversations is because it's never about like empathy. Do I understand the scales and how someone may view for this, that, and the third? Okay, but moving forward, then what? So okay, so I'm just gonna, like I said, make it about myself. 30, single, mom. My fucking checkered past is all over Instagram. You know what I mean? I have people like you. She's a hoe. She's this. She's literally known for this. Okay. So what would be your advice to people like me then? I don't know for playing in.
Again, self-inflicted. Just saying. She brought this on herself. Go ahead.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate because there's right. You know, I'll tell you what. There's right. I just to answer. Wait, I mean, I just think there's consequences for your decisions, and I just think like my best advice from.
Well said. She said it. Consequences for your decisions.
I just think there's going to be consequences for putting, promiscuous stuff on the internet. Okay, and you probably won't get the type of guy that you could have got at 22.
Do you know what? It wasn't meant to be then. Do you know what I'm telling you? I would say, because I'm 30 and I'm single out of a situation that actually is not because I was a hoe and I was doing whatever. You can't call me that. I made it my decision to be with somebody that hurt me when I stayed for 5 years. I came out super late. And do you know what I realized? What I learned is that I know now that I have to be selective and I have to think. If it's taking longer to get to that stage, is what it takes, then that's what it is. You accept your future, you accept everything with gratitude because as long as you're breathing, that's the most important thing. Unless you've got your child. I'm not afraid because I know the quality of woman that I am. I know my values regardless of whether I'm 30, 40, 50. Do you understand? So you don't be afraid by other people's time limits and limitations and all of that stuff because it actually doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why.
No, but your value goes down as you
No, that's according to you.
but I'm saying to men, and you have to understand that higher.
I'll tell you why. Because since Mr. Andrew Tate explained something about status, I understand very well what that actually means. And as a woman, the quality and the value that I hold for myself is actually the value and quality that a man will appreciate the status I bring to him, whether or not I'm a virgin. Because I've worked on myself to be a woman of quality and substance. I respect myself and I handle myself as such. Okay? And that is the way that you're going to actually overcome all of these bad mistakes that you've made. Because who you are right now actually will make a difference if you stick to it and if you mean it and if you've always been that way. There's always another story for everybody. It doesn't matter. I know I'm discussing my
Again, this is the woman who does not speak truth to Brittany Renner. Again, it's this echo chamber that women step into all the time. It's always going to be fine. You do what you do is fine. Oh, you speak your truth and everybody's going to love you and such and such and such. When men deal with different parameters, men have different rules, men have different judgments. I'm sorry, Denalva. It won't be fine for Brittany. No. She's gone against them. She's gone against the code. She's gone against all things to which men value women. She's gone against it. She's raised a body count. She has a child. Things are not going to go well for her. They aren't. They aren't. Any high value man that she says, oh, it wasn't meant to be. Oh, yeah, it wasn't meant to be. That is so true. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be for you because you did your own thing. You wrote your own rules that no man signed up for. And if that's the case, then there are repercussions for that. Repercussions that you will live with for the rest of your natural life. No matter what the novel says, no matter what other women say. Oh, it'll be fine. No, it won't be fine. Because we say it won't be fine. Because if you ask us our opinion on these things and we tell you what it is and you choose to disregard it, the consequences come.
Because you've been through a lot in your life. When she told me that you were going to be on and we were going to be on this panel together, I started watching a bunch of your videos, and it really was like, there's so much that you have been through, which is why you have a well of wisdom, right? And the difference between me and you is that you're glorified for it, and I am burned at the stake
Okay, before she goes into all this other stuff, I'm just gonna end it there because quite simply, she's gonna justify the reason why the books and the promiscuity and her life is gonna try and make her money. So, at the end of the day, do men care about that? Yes, because at the end of the day, we are not going to select a woman who wishes to put her promiscuity on the street, be a voice for women, for 304s and city girls everywhere, and quite simply profit from said experiences. So I'm not going to do that. I am not going to do that because that's what she's going to get into. But quite simply, just going to end. It's because we're reaching the 3-hour mark. We're just going to end on this note. At the end of the day, more game from Tate in the sense of, yes. Think about it this way: men don't value scars on women where women value scars on a man. If a man has gone through many experiences, a man has a story to tell. It makes a man more interesting. It makes a man more engaging. It makes a man sexier. It makes a man more apt to be submitted to. It does all these things. For a woman, it degrades her, it devalues her, and literally puts her in that, that box, that we say for, women of the night, call girls, bit of fun, 304, city girls, you name it, we got it. And that's where Brittany Renner is. She's trying to rebrand herself, but at the end of the day, she has that hanging over her head. And as they say, only through social media is this amplified. But she was in control of her own social media. She brought it to the fore herself. And so the final piece of game that Andrew Tate teaches Brittany Renner is the fact that you must learn from the consequences of your actions. It's as simple as that. You can't literally go through life as a woman, take all these scars, have all these experiences, promote yourself to have all these experiences, and see yourself as a villain, and not have men turn around and take you seriously. It's not going to happen. It never will happen. And that's about the final piece of game that Andrew Tate teaches her, is that your sexual experiences hold you back, are slights against you. Your child is a slight against you. All of these past misgivings, this gray area, are slights against you in a man's eyes. That goes without saying. And men have told women that from time immemorial. But because of their independence, because of their feminism, because of their women's movement, they think that it's not. When, in fact, it is. It is. It always will be. So, ladies, please take notes from that. We are taking notes. With every experience, with every sexual encounter, we're taking notes all the while. And you must deal and come to account for them at the end of the day. It's as simple as that. So, let's recap quickly. We thought it'd be a shorter show, but it turned out to be with a longer one. How can balance be restored by modern women? Be fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive. Literally, create that balance. Makes your man feel special. Create that woman that a man wants to come home to. Don't be so forbidding. Don't be so intimidating. Don't be a woman that a man doesn't want to, that a man needs to handle. Don't do it. Literally, don't do it, because that causes issues. And with high value men, they don't cheat. They exercise their options, even though they love their wives and girlfriends. You got to remember here, ladies, that if a man chooses to exercise options in certain capacities, you got to look the other way, because you know what? If he's keeping a roof over your head, he's being the best provider possible. If you're one of the top 10 to 15%, and he's in demand from all these women, sometimes you got to look the other way. Just sometimes. Not all the time. If he's an habitual cheater, I totally understand it. If he can't get through life without sex from another woman, I totally understand it. But every now and again, his needs are satisfied by someone else, needs that you can't satisfy yourself, consider it a solid from these other ladies. And if he's coming home to you and he's willing to die for you and protect and provide for you and your children, sometimes you gotta look the other way. And submission slash agreeability slash respect are the keys to any relationship. The minute that you see yourself as being independent, you have your own mind, and you're being disagreeable to a fault to a man, we want to wash our hands with you. We know marriage is a bad deal, period. It becomes worse if we know that you're going to disagree with us at every beck and call. And marriage will definitely not be in the cards for you, even though you wish it to. Definitely not be in the cards. If you choose to be independent, single independent, and not need a man. Or appear not to need a man. Sometimes judge his judgment. Sometimes see to his protective instincts. Sometimes be agreeable to him. And chances are you'll be fine. Chances are you'll be great. Chances are your relationship will last much longer than you think. It's about getting in balance with men, ladies. You're at an imbalance with us. Andrew's proven that so correctly. And as he said before, your track record will be monitored and judged at the end of the day by our standards, and there is a double standard in terms of experience. Men with experience are valued and respected. Women with experience are not. Unless it's in the corporate world, in which it brings them monetary compensation. So that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining me on Talk Live. It was a long one. It was a live one. We're going to be back again this weekend. We're switching up the schedule a bit nowadays, going into the new year. So we're gonna start having shows on the weekend, simply because the workload during the week is a bit overloaded. So I finally had a Thursday night because I knew my Friday was free. So usually it'll be Thursdays in the week, and then on the weekends, we'll see about a Saturday or Sunday show as well. So we're gonna be running them like that. So we'll have shows on the weekend rather than on the weekdays. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining me on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. That's DUNTALK.com. Thank you for joining me tonight. The live's already out there. It's going live on YouTube. It'll be available, and the Instagram will be available soon. And soon we'll be on TikTok as well. So look forward to seeing you there. So we're going to shut it down here from Talk Central. Thank you for joining me on Talk Live. It was very, very nice to be with you and be around you and be of your company. So thank you very much. And go Canada, go. Thank you very much, Vladizu, for your comment there. Yes, Canada won in overtime. Fantastic work. Well done, Canada. Again, still the kings of hockey. Point blank, period. Anyways, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for joining me on Talk Live. Yeah, it was great reception tonight. No issues tonight. So we're going to leave it there. And if you talk the talk, walk the walk. Good night, and we'll see you on Saturday. Peace. And to my people here on YouTube, we are going to get out of here. Again, more changes in terms of camera views. That'll come in the next few weeks. And we're going to make it a more lively show overall. But thank you for joining me on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. More changes on the way. All right.